This video is part of a series of walkthroughs looking at exam questions that asks you about the required practical activities for AQA A-level chemistry. In this video, we're looking at some of the different organic test tube reactions you could be asked about. Before I walk you through how I would handle this question, pause the video and have a go at answering it yourself. Remember, this is going to be a 6-mark extended response question, so you want to be spending about 6 minutes and giving as much detail as you possibly can. Required Practical 6 has come up a few times over the years, and this question here is pretty typical of what we've come to expect. AQA will give you a list of some different organic compounds, and you're able to differentiate between some of them using the test tube reactions that you learned about, but some of them you can't use those test tube reactions, maybe because you've got a couple of different compounds that are of the same type, or just for whatever reason they're not going to work. And so you also might need to provide some additional information. So they've included as the third part of this question before about drawing structures, or they've included about using other techniques, but it tends to be that only the first 4 marks out of the 6 are actually for talking about the test tube reactions. So here we've been given a secondary alcohol, an aldehyde, a ketone, and a tertiary alcohol. And so we're going to need to see which of those we can identify. So the first one that we know we can identify really easily is the aldehyde, and we're going to do that probably using the Tollens silver mirror test. So as you know, when you add your Tollens reagent, we get this silver mirror provided that we have the aldehyde, which here of course is pentanal. Now you might not have gone for Tollens reagent, you also might have gone for Failing solution. And Failing solution, you know, it's copper sulfate based, and again with the aldehyde we get the positive test, which here is an orangey red, brick red precipitate. So again, I'd say that the aldehyde is pentanal. I want to make sure that I'm giving specific details from the question, not just saying in general, this will test positive for an aldehyde, because what if my examiner doesn't know which one is the aldehyde? Or what if they pretend that they don't know? Obviously they're going to know. Once we've identified the aldehyde, at that point we can get out our acidified potassium dichromate. So we can't use this before this point because this will give us a positive test with both the aldehyde and the secondary alcohol, so in other words, the pentantuol. So either one of those will turn the acidified potassium dichromate from being orange to being green. But once we know which one of the samples is the aldehyde, then we can exclude that, and whatever else turns the potassium dichromate green, that must be our secondary alcohol. Now for the remaining 2 compounds that we're trying to differentiate between, we're going to need to use our spectroscopic techniques. So we've got a couple of different options here. We could use infrared, in which case we're looking for the signals based on the different bonds that are present. So in the tertiary alcohol, we've still got that OH group, and so that's going to give us a signal between 3,230 and 3,550. Or alternative, we could just look at the ketone, and that's got the carbon double bonded to oxygen, so that's going to give us a signal in a different place. And of course those numbers are just on your data sheet, but you do need to be specifying there's a signal in this region. You don't just sort of say, oh, there's a signal based on the fact that it has this functional group. Or alternatively, we could do some mass spec, because actually these compounds have got different relative formula masses. So pentantuone has an MR of 86, whereas your tertiary alcohol there has an MR of 88, and you would be able to see that on your mass spec. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that these required practical videos are proving useful. I'll hopefully find time to do some more videos about required practical 6 once I've finished the rest of the series. If you are finding these useful, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more A-level chemistry videos coming soon.